welcome to Convo Fango. I'm your host Angel, and I am joined today by the executive producers of the upcoming Chapelwaitte. We've got Peter Filardi, Jason Filardi, and Donald DeLine. Thank you guys for coming to hang out today.
Yeah, thanks for
And
having
thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So Chapelwaitte is based on the Stephen King short story Jerusalem's Lot. Can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect from Chapelwaitte?
I think you can expect a really great, compelling Gothic horror story. Something that we feel we personally wanted to do, a Gothic horror story, and haven't seen in a little while. So, and you'll have a lot of scares. You'll have a lot of family drama. You have a lot of hauntedness, a lot of sins from the past. What else, boys?
It's an epic tale. It spans generations. It goes into deep family secrets and, you know, how we all kind of deal with our own version of sins of the father and how you either overcome those things and triumph and create your own future and not let the past define you or not, as the case may be. You'll see a great hero in Charles Boone, who is faced with an incredibly difficult choice to make in his life, and handles it. I can't imagine another actor having played the role besides Adrien Brody. He brings such incredible gravitas and authenticity and intelligence and depth to what he does. What else, Peter?
Lots of worms, blood, and beheadings.
Some good
There's
gore.
some really creepy, scary, disturbing things here. It's definitely, in the best, most entertaining way, a dark and disturbing tale.
We love to hear that. I like that you touched upon. Well, this is the outlet for that. Yeah, definitely. Tell us all about that. I like that you touched upon the worm horror. There's some there's the unearthing of the sins of the father, if you will, but there's also a lot of earthworm horror going on in there, which always makes me a bit wiggly and squeamish. So that was fun.
Yeah. We subjected poor Adrian to a lot of worm business. Yeah.
He was really game. He really went for it. I mean, I couldn't believe it. He'd be in a bathtub of mud with hundreds of crawling worms and having worms drop in his face, and he put worms up his nose and all kinds of stuff.
Hang on, was he really doing that with real worms? Like the bathtub scene? No! And the nose?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the nose is real.
Oh no, I was thinking there's no way. I was like, that looks very realistic, but there's no way that Adrien Brody has worms in his nose.
Well, he had a worm in his nose. We may have enhanced the length of one of those worms with visual effects.
But it did start there.
It did start there.
That's I already love Adrien Brody, but this just makes me love him even more, and I have even more of an affinity for him. Anyone who will stuff a worm up their nose for the sake of their art, you know? I mean, what's not to love about that?
Exactly. Yep.
So what drew each of you to this project? I know that you said you were looking into doing some sort of Gothic horror, but were there any specific elements that you guys were just like, we got to do this?
I think that Jason and I loved the time period. We loved the idea of 1850s New England. We loved the idea of deconstructing vampires and taking them back to their folk roots and making them, horrific graveyard creatures that they once were. We're also both from a small New England town, so we that is very rich in whaling history, and so we wanted to sort of marry our own history and sensibilities with Stephen King's and try, and come up with something cool.
I love that. How about you, Donald? What drew you to this?
Well, the story itself was just so compelling in terms of the characters, the setting, the tone, and the atmosphere. And I'm from California, unlike the Filardis, so I'm from California, and for me, you know, diving into a Stephen King story with his writing, which is so brilliant, and going into Maine in the 1850s and this craggy, rocky, forbidding coastal town with this legendary old house of Chapelwaite and Charles Boone riding up with his manservant in a carriage. You know, you had me at hello on that. It was like, you know, I'm just there and I want it to not stop. And you know, in the grand tradition of, you know, haunted house stories and you know, all the rest, it just captivated me. And I thought, boy, you know, it opens so many doors to go down so many avenues of things he sets up that he doesn't, you know, pursue because it's a short story. That it just offered a lot of rich opportunity, and the Filardis just, you know, really built out great stories from everything he had set up.
Amazing. I'm really excited for people to see this. As a huge King fan myself, this really captures the spirit of it. And I'm also from California, so I think something about East Coast horror and like wailing and like all of that kind of stuff is just inherently creepy because it's so foreign to what we grew up with, you know?
Right.
So, and then it's like, and then I see that and I think about growing up with Stephen King, and that stuff is just inherently, I'm like, ooh, that's spooky because it's very opposite of what I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know, listen, New England, we grew up with ghost stories. Everything's old, you know, the history, and we probably spent an unhealthy amount of time in graveyards as kids. but you guys have Charles Manson and
well, you ought to know, Jason.
Anyway,
and you grew up in a haunted house too.
We grew up in a haunted house.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You guys have just rich lore to pull from in that aspect already. Also, I'll trade you. You know what? You can have Charles Manson. I think, Donald, do you want to swap them? Well, you guys take Charles Manson. We'll take the haunted house.
Let's go to New England. Ready.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Are there any closing words? Is there anything you're really excited for audiences to see in this in particular?
They're gonna love where this story goes, and the finale and the choices Charles Boone has to make and how the story pays off is really gratifying. So I really hope people hang in there. It's like it gets better and better as it goes, and it's classic, great horror storytelling.
Thank you so much to Jason, Peter, and Donald for joining us today. Chapelwaite premieres on EPIX August 22nd.